welcome. This is the Most Wanted Music, the Cyber Stage. I am JP, and we have had this amazing talk about funding in Europe, and now we are approaching ourselves to the next talk. The next talk, it is very interesting because it is about something called NFT. When I first read it, I thought, oh my God, what is an NFT? An NFT is called non-fungible tokens, which at the beginning you think, okay, and so what? A non-fungible token, it's sort of like a unique piece of art, but saved in a blockchain. That's why the word token. And this is something that you can basically own and make money out of it. And we are going to have our expert here, which is Daud Zulfacar, which is the founder of License.rocks, and is an expert in this sector because he has worked in many companies as a product manager for a few startups, is since 2016 in the blockchain, since 2017 in production, and is part of the blockchain circle of Factory Berlin. And we want then welcome to the stage Daud Zulfacar.
Hi there, thanks for the introduction. I hope you all can see my screen. Is that the fact or not? Can you give me a hands up for that one?
I cannot see your screen yet.
Okay, so I share my screen again.
And we may have Dominic, that is called the silent bot in this case, that might be joining later in the session. Now we can see your screen. I give you this stage, and I am looking forward to listen to the presentation because it's a very exciting topic.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the intro. And Dominic is actually right now in a networking area. So we have someone who's on site and who can answer any kind of questions. And I'm here, unfortunately, in my child's room. But I still will run you to our solution and how to mint a music NFT. So my name is Daud. I'm one of the founders of License Rocks, and we look the whole time at a license solution for digital products by applying decentralized technologies. So NFTs, you kind of explained them. I mean, that hype really started like in March 2021 this year when people sold like 500. My sound is muted. You can't hear me? You can hear me, right? Okay. So people started selling his art pieces, and overnight he became the third richest living artist in the world. And ever since then, like everyone wanted to be an NFT artist. But there's a lot of hype right now, but laws and the whole regulations, they are way slower than the technology, and they still need to evolve. So if we talk about NFTs, maybe because you already explained it a little bit, but maybe I go a little bit deeper into it. So it stands for non-fungible token, and a token is a representation of anything digital or physical. If it's physical, it will be called a digital twin. And that token is stored in the blockchain, and it represents something else. It could be art, it could be a picture, but it also could be a real estate or any kind of other asset, and music could be also something that is standing behind that NFT. Why is it non-fungible? Well, maybe we talk about first fungible. Fungible means if you have money, for instance, and you go into a bar, then you can divide that money. It's accepted because everyone can change it against something else. But now think about going with an art piece to a bar and just ripping off a piece of your art piece and trying to get like a beer or a coffee for that. No one will accept that. So it's not divisible, and it's something that is unique or limited and doesn't really have maybe liquidity on the other hand. And just that you keep that in mind. What's the difference between fungible and non-fungible? And when we talk about non-fungible tokens, we're talking about some scarce digital good. So what is an NFT not? It's not like a fully digital rights solution. We've been talking a lot with different people from the music industry, and they often understood that when you have an NFT, you also have fully digital right management included there. This is not the fact. There's no full protection of your files. It's just a provenance that shows you that you're owner of that asset, but it doesn't really protect it. Also, right now, since I said regulations are a little bit slower, it's not a legal proof yet in front of court in case you have a court decision. And there's another thing, especially with a few musicians that we talk to, it's not that you can come up with an NFT and all of a sudden, like you get tons of bags of money for that. So it's not a fast cash grab. You also need to think about how you can reach your audience. So what are the benefits of an NFT? It's like you can make digital things all of a sudden really scary. You can come up and can say there are only 10 pieces of this music asset that I'm selling as an NFT. And all of a sudden, think about like limited editions we had back then with music, or fan editions like with fan boxes, stuff like that. That's an NFT on stereo. It's you can say, because you can add like any kind of collaboration with other artists, and even come up with arbitrary splits, which would mean that anyone who would work in collaboration with you on an NFT would receive the money right away after that NFT is sold, based on the splits you have been agreed before you minted that NFT. By the way, minting an NFT, because we had that question yesterday, means that you're just creating an NFT. So what's really powerful and what you need to think of is like the whole blockchain space works with these tokens, and these tokens always work as an incentive for something you want people to do for you. So if you plan your token model right, you also can build a incentive structure out of that and start community building. And nowadays that's like super important, because if you think about your community, that's going to be your fan base. And we think NFTs are a perfect fit to be used as a licensing tool for digital ownership. So what is so special? I mean, if you give someone a token, then you can see where the tokens are. It's basically like a mailbox, which is totally transparent, and I can see what kind of tokens are in there. So I can come up, for instance, with something where I say, I know now which fans or customers of me are holding my tokens, and I can grant them access, because all of a sudden I'm opening up a direct distribution channel, whether you use it for marketing or for sales towards my fans. And you could grant them, for instance, exclusive content. And you only can grant those people who are holding your tokens that exclusive content if you want your customers to hold the token. And since my talk was about how to mint, I'm not doing it live because out of the time perspective, I said I just do a few screens. So you always need to add some artwork. And artwork, if you think about back in the days when we had records, yeah, or we still have records, but if you think about a record, a special thing about a record was like a special edition of the cover. So the cover is something of the, I like to call it like our digital canvas, that we can, where we can place any kind of art. It could be a 3D model, it could be like a nice photograph, it could be a graffiti, it could be any kind of art that you would add there. That would be the first thing you would upload. And then you would upload an MP3 that corresponds to that. And then maybe you have the option, it depends a little bit on the solution you are using. Maybe you have the option to also upload content which only gets unlocked when someone buys into that NFT. And that's, again, super important, because now you have to think about things which are really important for your fan base. Yeah, think about like something that you can't buy in the market, but which will be super beneficial for your fan base. Let's say an intro or an outro on an upcoming album. If you would sell that with an NFT, that would be for a super fan something really special. for someone who's not a fan of that musician, they would probably say, well, I'm not too sure what to do with it. So the next step would also be that you add a title, so everyone can see that title, and you already see that canvas is filled now with some art piece. And then you have to add a description, and that description is super important because that's what your potential buyers or fans are seeing. And here a little bit of storytelling is also needed, because the value you give an NFT is something, the value is getting decided by the fan, and the fan needs to understand what's so special about your collaboration within that NFT, or what's the cause it is supporting, or whatever you want to express with that NFT. And you have to tell them exactly what makes your NFT so special. And then you add an amount, so you can limit it to one, but you also can have an addition. You say it's a 100 times there, 1,000 times there, or whatever you come up with. And you need to pay at a price, and say if it's like a direct price you can purchase the NFT for, or if it's an auction, so fans could bid on it. And you could even add any kind of arbitrary license agreement to it. And now it gets really interesting. If you think about sync licenses, you could issue music pieces and you could say, well, this is for an event, and then all of a sudden already, in case someone wants to see if you're properly licensed all your music pieces for an event, you would have a proof that you could show. But you can do all kinds of other stuffs here. What I'm showing you is just like an example workflow, but it's sorry. But you can do all kinds of other stuffs here. What I'm showing. Excuse me, I didn't get the question. I can get all kinds of other stuff, and then? Okay. How we can add any kind of splits. These splits mean, like, on the primary market, if I sell something, then I can say, how do I do the splits for the first time I sell an NFT? And here we can add like an arbitrary amount of splits. Right now I added the gamer, so they are getting their money out of it. I added an artist who did the artwork there, and I added a musician. And we can add percentages. And then right after that NFT was purchased, these percentages are getting split over the people that I defined for that. And also we can do that for the secondary market. And now it gets really interesting. So the musician can even get money out of his music piece if it's already sold. So after that, all you have to press that it gets minted, and then your music NFT is there and you can sell it. And basically on every single platform which is out there, there's somehow that flow. I mean, it's not that detailed that you can do arbitrary splits with others. So there are some special things with our workflow here. But basically, with most of the information that I showed you, you can mint an NFT. So think always, if you think about NFTs, about all your creative options, what you can do, who you know, what you want to support, and also about your fan base, and interact with your fan base, and think about what your fan base is really looking for and how you can educate them in advance. Because if you just pop up and say, I have an NFT, they probably have a big question mark because they don't know what you're doing. And then you have to concentrate on how you market all that, and just get into the creative mode and think about any kind of ideas and just explore. We are right now in a experimental stage, and we need to explore things that work, and don't be scared to fail. Just keep on trying. And what I will offer you, I told you I have Dominic in there. You can scan my contact details, but also I have a link here. Maybe I can share that somehow later, or I can share the presentation. And there you can book like a free workshop with us, so you can go into details considering what you can do with an NFT and your music assets. And also, I will be in that QR session at Gathertown for at least half an hour, and you can post me any questions there, or you just grab Dominic, who's in the network station, and chat with him about it. So thanks a lot. And if there's still time, like I would open it for any Q&A we can do right now. So I don't hear anything.
So
Okay,
here I am. I may have a question about it. Let's see if
sure.
my colleague are going to get some question. So something that basically I am wondering about is like, in this case, we are talking about a token. Token, it means that it's connected to a blockchain. But
Mhm,
when I was doing my research, I was seeing that uh, we're talking about stuff that can have a high value of money,
mhm.
but like even if it is in a blockchain, do people have to buy that with, for example, Bitcoin, or they can buy, or the money that they use to buy this NFT is like irrelevant to the NFT itself?
It's irrelevant to the NFT itself. Like you could also give someone an NFT for free, or which could be also a good thing to do community building. And it depends on the solution, what they offer. So you can pay with regular fiat money, so with your credit card, or you can pay with crypto, whether
Okay,
it be Bitcoin or Ethereum.
great. And it is something like I'd love to know more about, because I think that in the music industry, it could be connected with like a sort of also uh, like 5 seconds of music that you can claim the right, or you can create your own NFT based on 5 seconds of music, or like of playing an instrument in a certain type of way.
Yes, I mean, why I always focus on collaborations. Think about your 5 seconds of music, and you play it in a loop, and then you find some nice visual artist, and you combine that, and he comes up like with different kind of designs. Then you always can take your loop and can and add like an arbitrary amount of artwork to it, and you always will have something like really unique that only you can own, and that makes it then really special, I think. And everything is getting more and more digital.
Yeah,
So think about all the frames that we will have, and for these frames we need content, and
but
we all like, yes.
what is, for example, the difference between like having an NFT or owning an NFT that people can buy, and the royalty that you get when you produce an album or a song, and you get money every time your song is played, for example?
Well, it's something which is coming to your existing revenue. Yeah, I'm not saying that NFTs should replace everything. I mean, there are different approaches. People are saying, well, it's gonna disrupt like the whole industry, and you can get rid of all the streaming and stuff like that. I'm not a believer in that. I believe it's like an extra revenue you can come up with, where you have like a direct distribution and where you don't need any kind of intermediaries, and where you can hop from one solution to another solution if you don't like the services they are offering you. So it gives you more freedom as an artist
Right.
to select. Yeah, and I think it will be all based on talent also, and not so much on location and who you know. And like that, you can have artists from all over the world collaborating with each other and creating great stuff, and even adding social causes to it. And I think that's something that's so wonderful for me, to see how creative people can get with that piece of technology. It's just an enabler. Yeah, it's you still
And
have to be creative.
great. And give us a hint. In the case we book a place in the free workshop, what are we going to do?
You tell me about your ideas, and I explore together with you what I think makes sense, and how you can solve it and how you can't solve it. or what works and what probably doesn't work. But I
That
would
sounds like
always,
amazing.
yeah, and I always would encourage you just to think about crazy ideas, because it's I don't like to be the bottleneck for not letting your creativity out. And I think the more creative you get, the more nice ideas you have. And if I come up with too many constraints, that might stop you from your creativity's flow. And I don't like that.
Yeah, this is also something like creativity sometimes needs space. Creativity sometimes
Mhm.
need also allowing, which means to be
Yes.
able to create something that maybe is not efficient, but is a base for your next creation that it's going to be better.
Mhm.
Every creation is always better than the previous one. Well, I would say thank you a lot, Dawood, and thank you, Dominic, that I didn't understood if he was in there or not. I felt his presence in a way. But thank you, both of you. And we are going to see each other maybe on Gather Town or at the workshop.